Hey, Riley.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How's it going?
Good. A little warm today, but you know, it's nice.
Nice. Jason Schwartz. Nice to see you.
Hey, how's it
Um,
going?
Doing great. Staying busy today.
yeah, thank you for doing this on a Sunday.
No problem. No problem. Hi, Natalie.
Hello, good to see you
Good to
all.
see you. Good to see you. So, how's everybody's weekend? You staying
Oh,
busy?
that was my stream.
What was that?
Is this meeting going to be accessible after the fact on YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay. Someone was
Actually,
asking, so I'll give them that
we're actually
information.
we're streaming it on Facebook right now too on the Kana Facebook page.
Okay, great.
So if you wanted to share it to the downtown neighborhood page, you could.
Yep, I'm going to right now.
Great. Okay, we got Christina.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Hello.
Yes.
Hi, Christina.
Hi, I'm gonna try and get my video up.
Good to see you. We also have a special guest, Mayor Sheehan. Hi, Mayor Sheehan.
Hello,
Good to see you.
good to see you.
Oh, hi, Christina.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
So, Mayor Sheehan, we're doing a informational meeting to start a downtown neighborhood association tonight. And Riley reached out to me a few weeks back, and he's been my go-to guy. So, Riley, you want to tell the mayor a little bit about what we've been doing?
Yeah, I am the residential board member of the Downtown Albany bid, and we initially were going to start forming a neighborhood association for downtown just because the neighborhood is growing pretty rapidly between the Redburn developments and the Subin building and a couple of the other projects that are ongoing down here. So we thought it was a good idea. The bid thought it was a good idea. Plus, I mean, some of the neighbors, Natalie has been at a lot of the initial step meetings to start a neighborhood association so that people here have a stronger sense of community and maybe want to invest themselves in the community in a way that otherwise doesn't happen. It's all exciting.
Yeah, hey, remind me though, because I thought that initially the bid was gonna somehow be involved in facilitating this.
Yeah.
And it sounds like there are some old school thinkers that are on the bid board who don't really understand. Well, I don't know. I think maybe have a misunderstanding about a neighborhood association and what it's all about.
Yeah, the bid was the initial group that was going to start organizing it. But because, of some issues, we decided to go forward and I would handle kind of the work on the ground separate from the bid.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say that bids or neighborhood associations are really powerful and impactful. Especially during COVID, as Zach knows, there were many emergency meetings that we were able to get all of the neighborhood association presidents on a Zoom to talk about everything from testing access to PPE to getting the word out about fireworks that were driving everyone crazy, to vaccinations. And so, in in Old Albany, they were really created as sort of a countermeasure to the Democratic machine. And that's really how my husband and I got involved in Albany. He was the president of the Helderberg Neighborhood Association. And, because we just couldn't really navigate the whole Democratic, it's kind of ironic, I guess, right? I'm the mayor now, but we couldn't really navigate all of that and didn't feel like we were welcomed there. But, our neighborhood association really took on that role and got a lot of things done. For me and my administration, that's the first group that we turn to. So, whether it's, if a developer comes to me, if somebody looking to do a neighborhood project comes to me, the first thing I say is reach out to your neighborhood association, and let them know what you're doing, be as transparent as you possibly can. And you'll either get a fast no, or they will be your best friend and they'll do everything to help you. But you need to listen to them. So, we never get 100% of people in agreement, but I'm really excited that you guys are doing this. I think it's great timing. And I need to know, and any administration needs to know, what are the issues, right? Whether it's traffic, loud noise, responsiveness, all of those types of things. That's, the neighborhood associations are a great funnel for getting that to the administration.
Yeah, we're really excited to start being a part of that conversation, just because now there are a lot more tenants here than there were previously. So we're excited to be able to get our voices heard too, in a more organized way. And thank you for showing up to the meeting. It's nice to know that we have your support. It's a Sunday night. It can be kind of tough for people. People like to go to bed early.
This is very exciting to have this association. I live downtown. I'm not there right now. I'm on campus at UAlbany. I have to work today, but I've been living downtown since 2014. And it's funny. Riley and I realized today that we were like one building with each other for at least a little bit.
Yeah.
But Riley, I'm sure you can attest, like when we first moved down here, like, where is everybody? And then suddenly the last few years, suddenly just exploded with people. And then just this weekend I was walking around, I was like, oh, there's people down here. Oh, this is crazy. So
yeah. It is much busier than it was in 2016 when I moved here. Certainly more tenants, more people in their pajamas letting out their dogs, that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you very much, Mayor Sheehan, for popping on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. And I wish you guys the best. Anything that you need. Zach knows where to find me. It's really, I'm glad we're at this stage. Were it not for COVID, you probably would have done this a year ago, but I think as we get back and we're seeing more people outside, I'm in the Tenbrook Neighborhood Association and the Arbor Hill Neighborhood Association, but I'm literally like a stone's throw from where you guys are. So the issues that are important to you are also important to me. So,
Yeah.
all right, enjoy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's
Hi,
nice.
Amy. Good to see you, Amy. Good to see you. Been a while.
Hey, Zach, how are you?
Staying busy?
Staying very busy.
Good. Well, Riley, I did put together a little bit of like a PowerPoint slide just to kind of give a little background about Cana and kind of like what you should maybe think about as we enter the next phase of the process of creating a neighborhood association from the ground up. So is everybody ready to kind of go through the PowerPoint? You don't have to take notes. I'll give this to you afterwards.
Thank you.
Yep.
It's a good little kind of tutorial about Cana. So for those so I'm Zach Simpson, Chairman of Cana. I just want to start off. Everybody can see my slides.
Yep.
Okay, good. So like the first logo, it's the Cana logo, Council of Albany Neighborhood Associations. I also serve as the vice president of my association, my neighborhood association called Upper Washington Avenue. And that one's been around since 1978 was when it was first created. And then this one on to the right, that's called Uptown Neighborhood Cooperative. And that is my multi-neighborhood community collaborative that I created actually virtually during the height of COVID-19 in May of 2020 as a means to keep the uptown neighborhoods connected and ensure that people's questions were being answered and that, things were being done by the city as far as, fixing our sidewalks, fixing our potholes, trimming back our trees. So for those who know what CANA is Council of Albany Neighborhood Associations. It's a nonpartisan federation citywide. And we participate in all matters that affect the quality of life of our constituents. We meet every month, except for July and August, first Wednesday of every month, usually at the Albany Public Library, Washington Ave branch. But since since COVID, we've been virtual since our meeting in April of 2020. And our mission is what is good for the residents of Albany's neighborhoods is good for the vitality, well-being, and growth of the entire community. So we were founded back in May 2nd, 1976. So actually this year is our 45th year of being in business. And we were created when 21 different representatives from 8 existing neighborhood associations came together and wanted to create a citywide federation as a way to help different neighborhoods deal with issues that actually overlap their neighborhood boundaries. We have taken stances on certain things over the years. We actually stood in solidarity with Save the Pine Bush and other advocacy groups to oppose Crossgates Mall in '79. Actually, this year, CANA unanimously voted to oppose the application to process municipal solid waste by Waste Management New York, which is part of Waste Management Inc. In the south end of Albany. That was last month we voted on that, and actually Waste Management pulled their application the day after CANA took the vote, and as was the Common Council did a resolution. Government officials were adamantly against it, so they did pull out. CANA opposed legislation to permit 12,000 gallons of propane to be stored in residential neighborhoods in 1983. They recommended that hearings for the Zoning Board of Appeals be held in the evening rather than the daytime. And they also lobbied to have public comments at the Common Council meetings. So 1992, we developed the rules for the annual Block of the Year program. And in '96, we recommended for Albany to establish a community police council to have a better working relationship between the police and the community. Some of you may have seen them. We did the mayoral forum this year. CANA we co-sponsored it with the League of Women Voters of Albany County, as well as the Albany chapter of the NAACP. And CANA has also been involved with the Ward 6 forum, Ward 5, and then next week we have Wards 9 and 14 that we're doing. So we've done candidate forums pretty much every year. And throughout our history, we've been instrumental in the formation of new neighborhood associations and community groups. And so this year, since I've been the chairman of CANA, we helped Shaker Park Bishopsgate get back together and meet, as well as the Norman Skull Neighborhood Association. They had not met since COVID hit. And actually, the Buckingham Lake Neighborhood Association, I helped reorganize that one. We had our first meeting back in February. We had a neighborhood-wide informational meeting in February, kind of like what we're doing tonight. And then we adopted new bylaws, and September, we're hoping to have the election of officers of the managing board. I just wanted to show. So if anybody hasn't seen the actual neighborhood association map for the city, this is a really good one. It shows all the different neighborhood associations. I think there's almost 30. But there's Tom Mayer, he was one of the Cana co-founders. He was actually the executive director of the Neighborhood Resource Center, which was part of, I believe, part of the United Way at the time. And what the Neighborhood Resource Center did was it helped citizens create neighborhood associations. So with the Neighborhood Resource Center, Cana was founded in conjunction with them, and Tom Mayer actually wrote 2 different resource guides. One is starting a neighborhood association, and the other is increasing participation in a neighborhood association. And Riley, did I send you those already, I think?
Yeah, I have both of them. Yeah.
And they're good to read. They're good to refer to.
Yeah.
But I wanted to just pluck out some of the important stuff to go over with everybody. So what is a neighborhood association? It's comprised of residents in a specific geographical area that come together to enhance quality of life. It is not a single issue group, and it shouldn't be. It shouldn't just be about traffic. It shouldn't just be about one thing, because that actually can do a bit of a disservice. It can turn people off with coming to a neighborhood association meeting. If you're stuck on one issue every time, it's not a good thing. Who makes them up? People of all different backgrounds, different ages, cultures, races, religions, politics, you name it. And there's people with different expectations of the organization. So to start a neighborhood association, the main reason usually is the triggering of an issue or issues that kind of get people up in arms, and they want to do something to take action. And it can be, the issue can be a major issue or minor, but the important thing is to motivate a group of people to take action on something. As far as date and time of meetings, Sundays are good. But, a good thing to do is kind of get a consensus of what's the best date and time that would be the most convenient for you to meet, and when you think you might get the maximum audience. Generally speaking, I think Tuesday through Thursdays are pretty good for neighborhood meetings. Mondays are a little tough. It's the first day of the week. Fridays are tough too. But that's something for you folks to consider. So for each meeting, you keep the expectations reasonable. You want to keep it a very friendly atmosphere. You do want to try to bring forth either speakers or ideas or issues that will formulate discussions with folks that are meaningful. And, you want to leave a meeting kind of feeling like, you were glad you were there, and you learned things, and, it's an educational experience. Every meeting should have an agenda. So planning an agenda, it's pretty easy once you do the first one. But it should be, pretty clear, very direct, not too much stuff, and you can always kind of add to it as you get closer to the meeting. Keep it pretty simple. And one thing that's important is publicizing the meeting. So Riley, do you want to talk a little bit about how you publicized this meeting tonight?
Yeah. So we created a Facebook page that I encourage everyone to follow along. That way we can stay organized for events and stuff. And we also distributed flyers to some of the development companies down here, like Redburn, sent it out to all their residents. We printed some and hung them out at the dog park and in a couple of the other like public spaces in downtown. And we reached out to building ambassadors that are associated with the bid.
Okay, so that's pretty good. Okay, so yeah, so media, flyers, posters, telephone, word of mouth is always good. So, I saw the flyer you did. It was a really good flyer. So
Thank you.
where was the one that was in the picture that was on the Facebook page? It looked like it was posted somewhere public.
One was in, I don't know why, but the park's name is escaping me, but down below Pearl Street Pub. And then the other one was at the dog park.
Good, good, good. All right. So just,
Oh, and we also gave it to a couple of the small businesses around. Stacks had a flyer, Port Orange had a flyer,
oh, good. Okay.
a couple other places that I'm not remembering. The liquor
Good.
store down here.
Okay. So participation, you know, there's various levels of participation in neighborhood association. You may have folks that want to be involved, and to the extent of they want to just pay the dues, they want to contribute monetarily. And there's others that will, you know, probably have more of an active interest in eventually being part of the leadership roles. Obviously, you know, in order to have a strong neighborhood association, you want to have strong numbers. So obviously, it's going to be important to increase the level of members, which will increase the level of involvement. So, you know, and the best way to do that is, you know, as we said, create favorable conditions. So make it somewhat informal for people to be comfortable. And also a good thing to do is plan certain events like neighborhood cleanups. My neighborhood, we do an annual cleanup at Westland Hills Park. And through my Uptown Neighborhood Cooperative, I do a lot of these pop-up cleanups in different areas in the city of Albany. And then we also do a charity food drive. And because of your folks' close proximity to some businesses, I think it'd be very smart to work with maybe a local business with the Regional Food Bank of Northeastern New York and do a food drive towards the holiday season. That's always a good way to get people involved and you know, feel like they're a part of a neighborhood association. So I think we may have touched on this last time, Riley, bylaws.
Yep.
You know, they're important. They spell out the organization, the responsibilities associated with, you know, what's going to take to run it. And you know, normally there's a leadership group that meets regularly to conduct business between meetings. Announcing the time and place for meetings. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. So just a few questions to think about. One is, what do you want out of your neighborhood association? What do you not want out of it? What speakers would you like to attend? How often do you want to meet? You know, are there specific issues you want to really focus on? Public safety, general services, what makes work best for everyone? And you know, just one more recommendation before I'll end the slideshow here, is to obviously, you know, have a working group where you create the bylaws and discuss who wants to be the candidates for the officers of your new neighborhood association. And then that's pretty much it. So.
Thank you. Yeah. So our next steps would be what to go forward?
I think it would be to have a working group meeting, and
Okay.
I know that Cana has a set of bylaws you can refer to. My neighborhood association has a set of bylaws. And I also can give you the Buckingham Lake ones that I just got finalized. And
You sent me one of them, but I can't remember. It was the Upper Washington, maybe. I
yeah.
think those are the ones that I have.
Yeah, so I can forward you also the Buckingham Lake one. And so they're not a traditional structure. They're a managing board model. So it's a managing board, minimum of 5 members, maximum of 7, and they delegate responsibility evenly. But then there's the other one, which is like a president, a vice president, a treasurer, correspondence secretary. That's a way to go. So that's definitely bylaws is important, but
And we can just adapt. I mean, I'm imagining most of the bylaws look pretty similar to one another, and we can just adapt from ones that are previously existing.
yeah, you discuss the bylaws, you can collaborate, make revisions as needed. And then I think what you could do is have another meeting, try to get more people to show up, and then have like a formal vote on accept bylaws. And then you could have another meeting where you will present the nominations for your officers.
Okay.
And in those 2 meetings, like Buckingham Lake did, we had presenters as well. We had 2 speakers at both of those meetings. And the one meeting had Jeff Crumpton. He's the president of Hudson Park Neighborhood Association. He presented about their style. But we also had at the working group, we had the Melrose neighborhood come and speak because they had the managing board model. And that's what they ended up going with, was a managing board. So.
Okay. What is Cana's timeline for in-person meetings? Like, is it inappropriate to do in person at this point?
So for our Cana meetings, we don't meet again until the first week of September.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But it sounds like our September meeting may still be virtual. We're just waiting on guidance from the library as far as when their community rooms will be. But I think September, it's kind of tight. I'm not sure yet if we're going to do it in person yet.
Yeah. I'd like to hear some input from some of the people who haven't been at the initial meetings. Like, what is your interest in the neighborhood association? What do you guys want to see from it? Like, where we can go from here?
I'm old news, so Riley's already sick of hearing me. So anyone else, I know this is very new. This is very much beginning stages. So if anyone is just, we're just happy to be here because we live downtown, this is very novel. Just go for it.
Yeah, I guess I'll talk a little bit. I'm fairly new to downtown Albany and Albany in general. I moved here in 2018. And it looks like I'm going to be here for a few more years. And so I've put some roots down in downtown Albany, and I'm just, looking for community. And so that's something that I'm hoping that we can, kind of build, is more of a community feel, and, also making sure that we're supporting folks who have been here for their entire lives. Yeah.
Very cool. Welcome.
Thanks.
Jason or Amy?
Sure, I'll go. My name is Jason. I'm actually going to be moving out of Albany in a couple months, so I just joined in. I've lived here for just over a year now, so I moved in during the height of COVID. But I'll let you guys figure out what you want. But I love being involved in the community, and I wish this was a year ago, but it was COVID. But thank you for putting this on. This is a great thing to do.
Thank you for showing up to the meeting.
I've lived downtown for about 2 years, a little bit more than that. I used to live in Albany many years ago. I lived in the Delaware Avenue area, but I like downtown a lot more. I'm an attorney. I used to actually be with the city. As Zach knows, I did a lot of zoning and planning work for the city. So, to the extent that I can be helpful to the neighborhood, I'd like to, be able to contribute. I work at a private firm now, but it's downtown. So my whole life just resolves around like downtown, this small, tiny little area.
Yeah. Okay, so I think our next steps would be to either get together or have another Zoom meeting and discuss bylaws and potential leadership positions. Correct me if I'm wrong, Zach.
I think that's a good way to go. We have somebody joining the meeting right now. Is there an hello? Oh, he's muted. He's driving. He's frozen. He's frozen. Oh, he's leaving.
Probably bad service.
So yeah, I think the best thing is do a working group. And you know what I can do is I can share. I did another PowerPoint with Buckingham. So Buckingham Lake, they went through a lot of those questions and talked a little bit about what they did want, what they didn't want of a neighborhood. So maybe that'll kind of help you guys kind of see how they thought what a neighborhood association should be. And then just do a working group and get the bylaws rolling and then get them formally adopted.
Okay. Then if I can get contact information from Amy and Christina and Jason, if you guys want to be a part of that planning group so that we can kind of get together and do the bylaws. I just heard back from Wes. He wasn't able to make the meeting tonight, but he's also still wants to obviously be a part of the planning. So if you guys are interested, then definitely toss me your contact information. You can either reach out to the Downtown Albany's email account, which is, I believe it's albanydna@gmail.com. No spaces, all undercase. And we can plan to either meet over Zoom again, or we can maybe meet in one of the parks down here or something like that, something outside.
Just one thing to think about. So when things normalize, is there a space where you think you would want to meet eventually, like indoor one?
Yeah, I have been kind of mulling that over since downtown doesn't really have many public spaces that are inside year round. I think there's a good chance that a couple of the local businesses here would let us use their space. And I also think there's a chance that Redburn may have a meeting room or something that we can use.
Good, good. Very good.
Yeah. Okay. So the email account is albanydna@gmail.com if you guys want to be a part of the planning board, and we'll plan to meet in the next week or two, either over Zoom or in person, and kind of hash out the bylaws and discuss what we want to do going forward.
Riley, do you?
That's my question.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, this gentleman's got a question. Go ahead. You
Go ahead.
just gotta unmute yourself. *7.
Ladies first. Ladies first. Sorry.
Thank you. I was just going to ask Riley if you were privy to the initial survey that the bid sent out in the initial meetings about like what residents are concerned about, what they would be interested in, and do you think maybe might be able to share that with the Facebook group so people are a little bit more familiar with like what we plan on talking about in the future, or do you think that's a bit still too early to do that?
I think an actual better idea is to do our own survey. The bid survey was kind of a small sample group.
Yeah.
But now that we have a Facebook page, I mean, the Facebook page has like 60 or 70 people who are following it already.
Yeah.
Maybe we redo a survey.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I wasn't sure how many people the initial survey had actually reached, but
Yeah,
I think the Facebook group like picked up pretty quickly.
Yeah, the bids survey was taken down pretty quickly because they left the involvement. So the majority of responses they got were from the ambassadors for the bid, the building ambassadors.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. I wasn't sure what the
Yeah.
practice of that was. So yeah, I think that definitely makes sense. So do you think we should, and I'd be happy to spearhead it. I don't mean to be like, would you be interested
Okay.
in this? You know,
Yeah.
would it be okay? We can discuss like a survey that we can post into the group or something, or do you think we should focus on bylaws first and then kind of communicate with the group?
I think we can do them in tandem, right? Like we can put up the survey. I mean, it will be good to go into a planning meeting knowing what downtown residents want to see.
Sure.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, so let's do that. Natalie, if you want to handle like getting kind of the survey put together.
Yeah.
And then I'll share it on like the social media pages and I'll email out to the ambassadors and maybe Redburn because Redburn has seen like they want to be involved.
Okay, I'll coordinate with you just so I'm not throwing it out there without any kind of eyes on it. Okay.
Yep.
Gentlemen with the eyes, we don't know your name yet, but please, by all means.
Go ahead. Just gotta unmute yourself. You guys gotta unmute yourself, *7 maybe.
So I just have a quick question. I'm sorry, I kind of came in this late. I was having some technical difficulties and I'm traveling. I'm new to the Albany area and I heard about this group. I missed part of the meeting. How long has this, neighborhood association been around? And kind of, can somebody give me a quick little, brief on, what exactly it is what the purpose is?
Yeah, the neighborhood association is in its fledgling stages. There's a group of residents who have expressed that they wanted to start a neighborhood association, and we just started planning, I guess, within the past 2 months to do it, and it's been a slowish start, but we are now reaching the point where I think we're going to go forward and officially form the neighborhood association. We're going to do a planning meeting. And I think the point is to build a better sense of community in downtown for residents who maybe have only lived here for a year, maybe get them to stay a little longer and make sure the city has our intentions in mind, are the things we want to see in the area.
Oh, that makes sense. That's actually pretty good. Kind of as a voice for the the folks in the city. I like that. I just moved here June 1st, so I'm really new to the area, but I get out and I network and I like to meet a lot of new people. And so I mean, this is definitely something that I'm interested in, just because typically wherever I am, I try to get involved with whatever it is going on in the area. I'm a volunteer firefighter. I like to meet and greet. So this is actually a good little additive for me. It's nice to see that there's folks out there that are thinking bigger picture.
Yeah, I think it's an exciting time. I mean, we were talking previously before you had gone on about how when we first moved here in 2014, 2016, there were not residents down here. There are a lot more residents now, and the number continues to grow as there's more development and more residential buildings being built down here. So yeah, we're just trying to build a better community, better neighborhood, and make sure that some of the things that need to be fixed down here are fixed.
Welcome to the area.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm definitely, I like to be part of, movers for change, positive change, growth. So it's good that you guys are thinking along those lines. So do you guys have like a list of things that you have already, in mind for things that you want to, work on?
From the initial meetings and from the initial surveys that we had done, parking was an issue for a lot of people. Rising rent was a little bit of an issue. Natalie, do you remember any of the others that we had talked about?
I think those are the main ones. I think there's also probably like kind of like you're mentioning, people who are new here also want a sense of community because it's kind of brand new. It just kind of feels like everyone. It feels like all the new apartment buildings just opened up at the same time, and then everyone came out. Like, there's people, there's neighbors. We can get together. So even just like a social factor, I think people are looking for as well, a sense of community, like we mentioned earlier. I think that's mainly it. I think right now we're just kind of figuring out how to marry the fact that downtown is suddenly booming both with business and with residential buildings. So it's just kind of trying to find that balance as of right now. And like Riley said, we're in the fledgling stages, just trying to figure everything out, just even structurally, how we want to go about this.
We're going to do, Natalie's going to design a survey for us to give out to residents. We're going to post it on our social media page and email out to some of the development companies down here who will give it to their tenants.
If anyone has any ideas right off the bat, off the top of your head, feel free to mention it. I can work that into the survey as well.
Yeah, definitely.
I guess, how are you doing it? How are you doing the survey? Are you doing like a Google survey?
I probably do that. There's different websites for making surveys, like SurveyMonkey and other silly named websites. I'm sure I can think of, but I'll of course run it by you guys first, just to make sure everything is addressed.
That'll be good to do that. I think it'll.
Yeah, and then in the next week or two, we're also going to plan a planning board meeting. So anyone who is interested in doing that can reach out to Downtown DNA, Albany DNA @gmail.com. And I'll put that in the chat.
That's awesome. No, I was just walking around downtown today with my son, and I saw like there was a few different memorials in the area, and I'm not sure who keeps up with like the upkeep in those areas, like cleaning up like tables or making sure that the memorials for some of these people are updated or not. But that could be something to talk about.
Yeah, definitely. The beautification of downtown Albany, and not just the beautification, just like the upkeep of it. I mean, there are things that need to be addressed there. We have some parks that have some flooding and issues like that. So all of that is a part of what a neighborhood association should.
So a quick question: does everybody know what C-Click Fix is?
Yep.
I do, yes.
The city is actually pretty good with C-Click Fix. If you post in it, they'll usually handle what the issue is. Sometimes issues are bigger than C-Click Fix though.
Yes. Like say you see a pothole, say you see an uneven sidewalk, those things you really should report. And because otherwise the city may not know, it's an unsafe condition.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, this is completely anecdotal and kind of small, but I mean, like this Columbia Street sidewalk is in shambles, and that's something that should be addressed. I mean, there's tenants there, there's residents there, and I don't think the city is concerned.
Okay.
I think that's a good example.
Yeah.
I think, like I kind of mentioned it before and alluded to it before, I think this is the first time since downtown Albany has residents to think of all the things that are affecting everybody in different like pockets of downtown. It's a lot. Even if it's just small area. So you never had a voice before. So this is, again, very exciting.
Yeah, and I know that from a couple of the neighbors that I've spoken to who have reached out to the BID about things, they've noticed graffiti places and like widespread graffiti, not just like C-Click Fix graffiti that you can report. It's kind of growing, but and also, I mean, we have a lot of representation issues down here. We should get in contact with the folks at Free Food Fridge and maybe get them to come talk. I mean, I'd like to have some of the community organizations here to give us their spiel.
I think that's a good idea, yeah.
So maybe, the next that smaller working meeting, we can work on the bylaws and work on who you want to present for the next neighborhood-wide meeting.
Yep. So if everyone wants to email the albanydna@gmail.com, I will collect your contact information and reach back out to you guys if you want to be a part of the planning for our bylaws and potential candidacies and also who we'd like to see come be a presenter at meetings. Yeah, I think that's everything.
I mean, yeah, maybe Louise McNeely would be a good presenter. She's from the Sheridan Hollow Neighborhood Association. She actually wears two hats. She's the head of Sheridan Hollow Neighborhood and Delaware Area Neighborhood Association. So she runs two of them. So
That's
she might be a
interesting.
good person to invite. Guy, you reached out to her already, Riley, about.
I was just gonna say I will reach out to her then and see if she's interested in presenting, just because we've already been in contact.
And if you haven't yet, I would encourage you to get on her email distribution list. She does like the most amazing summary of everything going on in her neighborhood.
Yeah, I actually I think I am subscribed to it, so
It's impressive. It's a lot of stuff, but it's really good.
but yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah, does anyone have any questions, comments, concerns? Okay. Zach, thank you for hosting this. Thank you for giving us the presentation. We'll be in contact about planning and the bylaws and all that good stuff.
Sounds great.
Thanks
Good.
very much.
Yeah, and thank you everyone for tuning in on a Sunday. I know it's, it's a nice night. People probably want to be out.
No, it's been great. No, I'm excited about this, so looking forward to it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Good night,
you.
everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a nice night.